Greetings, my excellent friends. You got the Hobby Drifter here again. It is Thursday, September 23rd, 2021, here in beautiful, sunny, hot, and humid Tokyo, Japan. And I am going to deliver unto you something that the internet needs. And that is a middle-aged white dude's thoughts on the Star Wars sequel trilogy. I feel like my thoughts are a little bit different from the ones that I've seen out there before. And it's a holiday, so what the hell. So, I remember it was toward the end of my time living in Kyushu. I woke up one morning and found that Disney had bought Lucasfilm, and they had already announced the sequel trilogy with many of the original characters to be directed. I don't actually remember if Abrams had been confirmed to direct or not. I don't think so, but basically a lot of stuff happened while I was sleeping that night. So I wake up and I hear about this, and I'm thinking, oh, cool, more Star Wars movies. Didn't think we'd get to see that basically ever. So fast forward a few years, and I have moved to Tokyo, and we get the first trailer for Star Wars: The Force Awakens, and it's a teaser trailer, and at the end, boom, you get that classic music, and there's the shot of the Millennium Falcon, doing its thing, and you're like, whoa, oh, that looks cool. And little side note, this is the first time that Star Wars had been big in Japan. I mean, it's never been like this unknown thing, but I would say that it was similar to the way that Godzilla is viewed outside of Japan, in that it's big, but it's like a niche audience, so it's a foreign, sci-fi type thing. So Force Awakens teaser trailer, then you get like the full trailer with Chewie, we're home, and it's like, oh, this is gonna be so cool. And I went to see Force Awakens opening weekend. I didn't go opening day because I couldn't deal with crowds like that. I just opening day, like big movie crowds, there's just too many people. I could not enjoy it. So went to see it. I think it was the next morning, next early afternoon. I don't know. I've got a ticket stub for it around here somewhere. But yeah, I was blown away. I really liked Force Awakens. It was very nostalgic. Going back to the George Lucas quote, where it's like poetry. It rhymes. A lot of similarities, especially to like New Hope. But I mean, you got to see your Han and Chewie and Leia. At the end, of course, there's Luke. You get to see the classic vehicle. There's the Falcon, along with some really interesting new characters who I think all of these new characters were really cool. You got your audience avatar in Rey, who is this completely unknown character, completely new character. We don't know like what her deal is. But then you get Poe, who is a stormtrooper. Like, we actually get to know a stormtrooper. Finn, who you don't get to see a whole lot of in the movie. Maz Kanata with her crazy bar, and she's got Anakin's lightsaber. And then Kylo Ren, who is just amazing. I was so on board with what they did with this character, because I really thought that they were going to try to like one up Darth Vader, to be like, oh, you thought Darth Vader was cool? Oh, well, check this guy out. They didn't do. I mean, they made him super powerful, like where he stops the laser bolt at the beginning and just holds it there until he's done with it. Awesome. But they basically made him like a Darth Vader fanboy. Like, he was this young this young kid. I mean, yeah, he's probably in his 30s or whatever. But like this like young kid who just idolizes Darth Vader. They basically made him a toxic Star Wars fan. they made, instead of trying to be like, oh no, he's way better, they were like, yeah, no, he's a fan. He's out to finish what Vader started, which is just kind of like, what's that? But also, again, super powerful, and you find out, oh yeah, he's Han and Leia's kid. So you've got the big bad, you know. And instead of Luke, I am your father, it's like, Han, this is your son. Just excellent. I had such a good time watching this movie in the theater. I saw it twice, once with a friend and then once with my wife, and bought the programs. It said to me that with this movie, it was Disney saying, we know what you want. We know what it is about Star Wars that generations of people have enjoyed. We know like what made the especially original trilogy special to so many people. And that I did think it was a little bit mean-spirited to begin the movie with, this should begin to put things right. But, I mean, yeah. So, you get this awesome, nostalgia-driven movie with all the respect in the world paid to the old characters, while introducing these new characters who are not just analogs of existing characters. I mean, of course, Rey and Kylo are very similar to Luke and Vader, but it's not one-to-one. So I thought that was really, really cool. Disney earned my trust with that. And something that happened with this movie is something that hasn't really existed for Star Wars fans in a very, very long time. And that is, when you left the theater, you had questions that there were no answers to. I mean, since the mid-'80s, basically any question you could have about anything that happened in a Star Wars movie has a canon answer. I mean, if you want to know, like, how did Chewie, get his bandolier thing or his bowcaster, those answers are out there. How did Han get the Falcon from Lando? That's out there. How did any single background character in any scene wind up there? Those answers are out there. At the end of Force Awakens, there were questions we did not have an answer to. Who is Snoke? What is Snoke? How did Kylo Ren turn to the dark side? All of this stuff, there were no answers. And a lot of people did not like that. They were upset. They're like, the movie didn't explain anything. How can this movie, just not explain anything? Kind of forgetting that the original Star Wars trilogy didn't explain shit. Like, go back and watch the first Star Wars movie, A New Hope. That movie doesn't explain anything. Who is Vader? What is Vader? What is the Empire? What is nothing? It doesn't explain anything because it doesn't matter to the story being told. It wasn't Lord of the Rings. It wasn't the backstory on every tree branch. It was like, we're telling this story. We're going to give you the stuff that you need to enjoy this story, and other stuff, figure it out yourself. But over years, everything about Star Wars has been answered. But you left Force Awakens, and it's like, ooh, I wonder, what's the deal with Rey? Like, who are her parents? what is this, this. Didn't know. And it was cool. I really enjoyed that. I liked, because I told you Star Wars was starting to get big in Japan. I liked, I was working in an elementary school at the time. I liked, having my kids talk to each other about, like, oh, I think, Rey this, or I think Kylo, blah, blah, blah. And not having, some big, super fan be like, well, actually, if you read the comic books, you would know that, because those answers weren't out there yet. And I loved that. Thought it was great. So Disney won my trust with Force Awakens. So it was like, okay, they get it. Cool. But the one thing that they left hanging, and it became like a point of discussion, was the death of Han Solo. And wow, like the audible gasp in the theater when that happened. Just, it's like the air was just sucked out of the theaters. Like, and I remember kind of thinking, did Kylo ignite the saber, or did Han do it? Because if Han knew that if Kylo killed his own father, there was no coming back from that. But if Han sacrificed himself to keep his son from doing that, and Kylo's reaction, you don't know. He says, thank you. Wow. So a lot of unanswered questions that you weren't. I mean, for me, I didn't think, oh, they forgot to answer this. It was like, I want the answer to this question, and I will continue watching in hopes of getting it. That didn't go my way, but I thought it was really, really cool. Then, Last Jedi. This is a divisive one. Divisive one. I fucking loved The Last Jedi. It is my favorite Star Wars movie of the Skywalker saga. Remember when I said that with Force Awakens, Disney was like saying, we know what you like, trust us? I did. I gave them my trust, and I watched The Last Jedi, and it wasn't as subtle. If you go back and you watch some of the trailers, or watch the movie again, they're very, very clear about what they wanted from this. Luke's comment, this is not going to go the way you think. Too subtle. Kylo's let the past die, kill it if you have to. It's time for the Jedi to end. And so you've got Luke. It's time for the Jedi to end. This is not going to go the way you think. You got Kylo's let the past die, kill it if you have to, and then you get Yoda, who says the same thing, but kind of ties it all together. Let the past die, kill it if you have to. It's time for the Jedi to end. And then he says, trying to get the quote right, we are what they grow beyond. So it is time for the Skywalker saga to finish and move forward. So the Vader and Palpatine and Luke and all that they were the seed. It's like, we are what they grow beyond. We are like, this is this has been great, but we have to look towards the future. And I thought that they did this amazing job of kind of setting in motion the stage for the future of Star Wars. Force Awakens was, here's all your favorites back for one more adventure, seeing how things went with them. This was setting up the new characters. You get, Rey has become her own, very, Rey has become her own character. She's not purely the audience stand-in. Now we know more about her and what she wants and what she's thinking and what, her place in the universe. And with Kylo, again, like one of the first things he does is he smashes that black helmet. And he's like, yeah, we don't need our main villain to be another red lightsaber wielding black helmeted character. Like we can move beyond that. And you get some of the political stuff in there where it's like, it's not like this entire universe isn't ruled by light side, dark side, Jedi, Sith, whatever. Like people have a monetary stake in this stuff. They want not just, power and like money. That's cool. You get to know, people in the rebellion, in the resistance. It's not just, what they call, the A-team with, Han and Luke and Leia. You get to meet, Rose and Admiral Holdo and all of these characters, and you get to know their motivations and like what makes them want to do this. It's setting it up for a Star Wars universe that doesn't revolve around the Skywalker family. And it also had, like, this movie had some of my all-time favorite scenes from, like, movies in general. But, like, Yoda and Luke at the tree. That fight scene with Kylo and Rey versus all the Sith troopers. Luke and Leia on Crate. Luke versus Kylo on Crate is just brilliant. I want every gun we have to fire on that man. And then he just brushes it off. Have you come to say you forgive me, to save my soul? No. just I know what you're gonna say. I changed my hair. Like, just the comedy was nice. Just and I get that it's not what people expected, and I've caught some shit online from because I was like, it's not what I expected. This did not go the way I thought it would, but I liked not knowing exactly like what was going to happen. I enjoy stuff like that. I don't want to know every last detail about everything the second that question pops into my head. I like having these discussions with people. So by the end of Last Jedi, the entirety of the original cast, like of the Skywalker, saga bloodline, was in Kylo Ren and Leia. And so Kylo Ren's got, he's Leia, he's Han, he's Luke Skywalker's nephew. Like, all of that is in there. If you want to, say like, Anakin and Plagueis, whatever. So basically, all of that in this young, ultra powerful bad guy who is just done with all of it. Again, let the past die, kill it if you have to. It's like, no more Jedi, no more Sith, no more any of that. He's done with it. Just axed Snoke, just like all right, cool. Snoke thought he was smart. He got fafoed. All of that in this ultra powerful bad guy, and in Leia, who, of course, is not going to be around much longer. And for the 2 years between this movie and like Rise of Skywalker, like, oh, how is I had ideas of how this was going to go. I had talks with people about like, what they thought was going to happen. So I was thinking, of course, that basically Kylo would die, redeem himself, and basically hand off pass the baton to the next generation of characters to explore this amazing universe, without having to be revolving around the life of Anakin Skywalker, without being tied to this one guy, without having a familial connection to the first two trilogies. And that's not what happened, because the reaction to Last Jedi was not great. Again, I absolutely loved it. I know a few other people who really, really liked it too. I knew many people who did not agree with a lot of the choices that were made. Specifically, in regards to like Luke, basically doing exactly the same thing as every other Jedi before him had done, which is running and hiding. That always bugged me, was when people were like, "Oh, Luke would never have done that," but yeah, I mean, Yoda did it, Obi-Wan did it, all of the Jedi from Revenge of the Sith did it. So I mean, yeah, that's in character. But I mean, a lot of people did not like this, and a lot of other people performatively didn't like it. It was, oh, there's women and main characters, and Rose and Holdo, and they're. I refuse to believe that they're making that argument in good faith, that they're just so upset about this. But I mean, there's money to be made in mining outrage from angry, sad little people. So Rise of Skywalker. So I was very excited that the Last Jedi was setting up for a future that was not revolving around the Skywalker family. So you can imagine when the title was revealed as The Rise of Skywalker, I was just kind of like, oh, right. Okay. I didn't dislike this movie, but I was very disappointed that a good chunk of the runtime was basically devoted to undoing most of what I liked about Last Jedi. Kylo puts his helmet back together because bad guy in a helmet. The familial connection between Palpatine and Rey is established with. Oh my God! Thank you so much for putting that idea in my head of Palpatine fucking. That is I did not need that, but now you have it too. So now we have the familial connection, but okay. So now it's reversed. So now Kylo has the Skywalker blood, and he's the bad guy, and Rey has the Palpatine blood, and she's the good guy, and they're a Force dyad. And again, okay, it's cool, but the whole point of Last Jedi was move on from the past. And this movie did almost a complete 180 on it. So it's like, no, let's not move back. In fact, we got Palpatine back, and the Sith troopers, and just so many Star Destroyers, and each one of those Star Destroyers is its own Death Star, and it's like, oh, okay. But again, interesting story. I rank it up there with all of the prequel trilogy movies in that it's okay. It's not bad, but a lot of it seemed kind of in a direct reaction to the response to Last Jedi, which, say what you want about George Lucas, he did not take into account what fans complained about whatsoever. He had his ideas, and that's how it was going to go, regardless of what other people wanted. And for the most part, it came out okay. He really wanted all that political stuff and I don't mean political stuff. I mean like literally, the main characters were all, government stuff. So yeah, Rise of Skywalker just was fine. Though there were some. I mean, the stuff on Exegol with Kylo doing the Han Solo like shrug. That was cute. The scene with Kylo and his father was nice. Although I would have liked if they had actually confirmed that that Han had done it himself. But it was nice. It was. The thing that really rubbed me the wrong way with this movie is the thing with C-3PO. And in the trailer, it's made out to be like this dramatic thing. Like, what are you doing, 3PO? I'm like, taking one last look, sir, at my friends. And it felt like one of the things that the sequel trilogy had been trying to do was clear out the aging cast. Because you were never going to get another Harrison Ford showing up as like a main character. And you might get him for a cameo here and there, but that you're not going to get him again. Obviously, Leia, Carrie Fisher had passed away. Mark Hamill is 60-something, and he's not really going to be main character material for much longer. So it seemed like they were trying to clear out the cast, and I thought that with that might have been what they were doing with C-3PO, where they were going to wipe his memory and basically make him like a new version of himself, and maybe have him with a slightly different voice, because you can't squeeze Anthony Daniels into that suit for the rest of eternity. But they just were such gigantic dicks about it. Like, oh, I can read this dagger so you can get what you need, but it's basically going to kill me. And they're just like, oh, okay, cool, do it. And it's like, they're like, well, don't you have like a backup from R2? And it's like, oh, not really, no. It's like, okay, so this is basically going to kill you, but we need it, so do it. And they do. They're just like, oh, well, hey, thanks for thanks for all this 3PO, but we need you to immediately serve our purpose now. So do it. And of course, it turns out that R2 actually did have the backup. So and it's again something that I thought might have been like a backup from before New Hope. So like maybe they got the backup from that nothing was explored there. So yeah, that's my take on the sequel trilogy. Loved Force Awakens, loved Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker was. That seems to be something that a lot of people do agree on. Is that no matter where you fell on the Last Jedi, you were probably disappointed with Rise of Skywalker. And I especially disliked that a lot of the what I call performatively outraged people who didn't like Last Jedi for reasons felt like, oh no, we won. Rise of Skywalker gave us what we wanted. I guess what they wanted was the exact same thing that's been spoon-fed to them for 40 years. And you know what? No, I also disliked that they specifically, made Finn and Poe, straight. It was totally fine to just leave it like, maybe there's like a connection there, maybe not, but nah, let's give them both, female love interest, and also let's make one of them maybe Lando's kid. Let's just throw that in there, like that's a possibility. Oh, and Rose, Kelly Marie Tran, just the happiest person in the world to be a part of Star Wars. No one who worked on the movies had a bad thing to say about her. Let's just basically cut her down to like nothing. Let's just all the stuff she did in Last Jedi, just cut her screen time down to like 2 minutes in Rise of Skywalker because some people got their feelings hurt by having to watch more than one woman in Star Wars at a time. So yeah, okay, that sucked. All right, that was some ridiculous bullshit of what they did to these characters. So okay, you got that from me. So Force Awakens, loved Force Awakens. Last Jedi, thought it was fantastic. Rise of Skywalker, could have been worse. I'd rank it. I don't know. Below Revenge of the Sith, above Attack of the Clones. Okay, so I mean it was all right. But I do like the sequel trilogy. And I've put my money where my mouth is on these. I bought the 3D version of Force Awakens. Very nice 3D thing here, except that it does not match up on the shelf with the other 3D releases of the movies, and that bugs me. So yeah, 3D version of Force Awakens. Last Jedi 3D version came with the 4K Ultra HD Movie Next version, and the Rise of Skywalker one. Cool cover, very very cool cover. You might notice still sealed. Haven't watched it yet. Have not watched it yet. There was a sale on Amazon a little while ago where marked down for, I think the original MSRP was like 9,000 yen for this, like $90. It was marked down to like 40, and it included the Hot Toys like bobblehead Cosbaby set with Kylo and a Stormtrooper and a Sith Trooper. So yeah, I like the sequel trilogy. I will go back and I will watch the sequel trilogy more than I will watch the prequel trilogy. The original trilogy is, always going to have the place in my heart. I wish it had a bigger place in my DVD collection, but gotta get those DVDs and Blu-rays of the uncut versions out. I've said this before, and I'm going to put it on here. The original Star Wars trilogy was made for kids. It was made for people who were kids and teenagers in 1977. That was the target audience. It was not this big adult thing. It was a It was a tribute to the serial movies that George Lucas grew up with and developed a lasting following. The prequel trilogy was made for people who were children in like 1999. They were, again, movies made for kids and teenagers, not specifically aiming at older, existing Star Wars fans. The sequel trilogy seems to have been aimed at people who were children when they watched either the prequel trilogy or the sequel trilogy. And I think that was a huge difference in how those movies were presented. In that, while they were a pretty good jumping on point for new young fans, and I knew many kids from my classes who got into Star Wars with Force Awakens, but it seems like Disney wanted to get as many existing fans as possible along with new fans, which fair play to them, but when you do that, you're never going to make everyone happy. But they did, a few nitpicks with Rise of Skywalker aside, they did make me happy. I really enjoyed them, and I have also enjoyed all of the subsequent stuff that has come out after Rise of Skywalker. The Mandalorian is excellent. The Disney, because they own Marvel now, so the Marvel Disney Star Wars comics are excellent. We're getting some of the best merchandise that's ever been made. Love the Lego Star Wars stuff that's been coming out recently. Black Series figure arts, the replica lightsabers. Good time to be a Star Wars fan. And it was a good time to be a Star Wars fan during the sequel trilogy. So, all right, everyone, that's all from me. Thank you very much. Take care, and happy hobbying.